Is muted. Good afternoon to the grade 9 learners and the English teachers. Welcome to this afternoon's lesson. As you can see on the screen today, we're going to take a look at emotive language. Now, you might ask and wonder what is emotive language, but I'm going to show you two paragraphs, and we're going to read the paragraphs, and then I'm going to ask you, what do you notice is the difference? Now, the first paragraph reads, the storm hit the town last night. Several houses were damaged and some trees fell across the roads. Emergency teams arrived to help clear the area and restore power. That's the first one, right? Now, the second paragraph reads as follows. A violent storm tore through the town last night, leaving families terrified as their homes were badly damaged. Huge trees crashed across the roads, blocking desperate attempts to escape. Brave emergency teams rushed in to rescue people and bring back hope. So if you compare these two paragraphs, the basic story is exactly the same. There was a storm, the storm hit the town, houses were damaged, trees fell over, some people lost their homes, and there were emergency teams trying to help the people and restore the power. So that's basically the story in both paragraphs. But obviously the one paragraph is shorter and the other paragraph much longer. So why is the other paragraph much longer? Because we added more descriptive words. We added adjectives and we added adverbs. Now those adjectives and adverbs that we've added to give a clearer picture, to create a more vivid picture, those words are called emotive language. Now the one in the green, the basic one, is neutral, but the one in yellow with the more descriptive words, that is emotive. So what is emotive language? Now the word emotive comes from the word emotion. And emotion means feeling. A synonym for emotion is feeling. So emotive language will be language that creates feeling, that creates emotion. So the definition is words that make the reader or listener feel something. So if you read that word, you must feel something, or you can imagine what it must feel like. These words, emotive language, we see every day. They are used to influence us, they are used to persuade us, or they are used to create a specific reaction. Now, if you see advertisements either on television or you hear advertisements over the radio or on social media, or you even see print advertisements in magazines and newspapers, you are going to find emotive words, because the purpose of the advertiser is they want to convince you to buy their product. Right. Now, this is the paragraph again that I had, the longer paragraph in yellow, the emotive paragraph. And now you will notice that I've put certain words in color. Instead of saying a storm tore through the town, then we said a violent storm. Immediately, if you hear the use of the word violent, there is an emotion. A person can become violent if a person is very angry. Anger is an emotion. So violent is an emotive word. Terrified. Now, terrified means scared. So all of you have felt scared. If there's such a heavy storm outside that is breaking down, for blowing over trees and damaging houses, we will feel scared. So the word terrified evokes or creates the emotion of fear. Badly damaged, right? Badly ties in with the terrified and ties in with the violent. It's not only a tree, it's a huge tree. So it creates a specific picture in our mind. And the tree didn't just gently fall down, it crashed. So immediately if you hear the word crash, it also brings up certain emotions of fear, because if you think of a car crash or any other type of crash, there can be injury involved. So that also creates an emotion of fear. Blocking and desperate. The word desperation, a feeling of hopelessness, right? So that creates an emotion. And then brave. Brave emergency teams. Now, the word brave also gives you courage. So that courage is an emotion that you can feel. You can feel courageous. You can feel brave. So that also is an emotive word. And rescue. If you were hopeless and there's people who will rescue you, rescue can be associated with relief, a feeling of relief. Your stress is relieved. So that's also emotive. And then the last one I've put in pink is hope. Hope. All of us have felt hope. So hope is also an emotion that we can feel. So there you have examples of emotive words. Most of those words are either adjectives or adverbs, words that describe certain things, and they are used for emotive language. So why do we use emotive language, right? What is the purpose of emotive language? Now, the purpose is to make the audience feel something. That's number one. So the audience is the people who watch, the people who listen, or the people who read. So we have to feel something. They want to persuade us. They want to convince us to do something, to buy something. They want to convince us to feel something. So sometimes they play on our feelings. So you either might feel guilty or you might be excited. So they play on those emotions by using these emotive language. And then the last one, it is to make writing or speech when we talk more interesting and more powerful. It's much more interesting. It creates a much better picture if you add these descriptive emotive words. Right. Now, emotive language in everyday life. Now, I've already mentioned a few of them, but where do we see emotive language? Where do we hear emotive language? Number one, in advertisements, as I've already said. For example, buy this cream for a smooth, beautiful skin. So in other words, I have a feeling, I feel old, I want to feel young, I want to feel beautiful. So now they say smooth, beautiful. So those two words will be emotive words. Now, the next one is in speeches and on social media. All of you are using social media. So in speeches and social media, the people also use emotive language. For example, they can say, let's stand together to save our planet. So immediately stand together brings a feeling of unity, a feeling of closeness, and also to save, right? All of us want to save. If you save something or someone, you feel brave and you feel as if you've accomplished something. So those words can be seen as emotive language. And then the last one, in our everyday talk, right? Perhaps your mother says something, right? And then you can say, Mom, please let me go. It's so unfair. You asked her if you can attend a party and she says no, right? So please, right? You're begging. You wanted to feel guilty. And then also it unfair, right? Unfair also creates a certain emotion. You feel that you've been treated unfairly. So, and that can also make your mom feel guilty. So those are emotive examples of emotive language. So we see we can use it in everyday speech. More examples, the neutral and the emotive one. Now, the dog was injured. So what word can we add that can create a certain emotion? I don't know if you can think of one, but here's an example. The poor, helpless dog was cruelly injured. There I've added 3 words: poor, helpless, cruelly. So it evokes an emotion in me. I feel sorry for the dog. I feel pity for the dog because the dog is helpless. The dog was cruelly injured. So you see the neutral, no descriptive words. And the emotive one, we've added 3 descriptive words. Another example, the teacher gave homework. Okay, so now that's neutral. There are no descriptive words in there. So what words, what descriptive words can you add to make it an emotive sentence, to use emotive language? I've added the following. The teacher unfairly gave us so much homework. Right? So unfairly, again, I feel I've been treated unfairly. That can make me feel angry. And then so much can make me feel hopeless. How am I ever going to finish this? So there I've added unfairly and so much. And those are examples of emotive language. Then the last one, there was a protest. Okay, so that's neutral. No descriptive words, nothing that elaborates. But if I add the words angry protesters filled the streets, demanding justice. Now you have the word angry. Angry is an emotion. You feel anger. Someone makes you angry. So that's an emotive word. Demanding, right? Demanding is also a very strong word. So that also, I want to stand on my rights. I want to be treated fairly. I want to be heard. So that also can create a feeling of a certain emotion. So there are more examples. And then I thought I would just quickly ask you in the following sentence. All you have to do is to say yes or no. If is the sentence emotive or is the sentence not emotive? Say, number 1, the government announced a new policy. Is there, we have new, but is new doesn't really create a feeling of excitement in me. So do you think that's emotive? If you said no, then you are correct. The second one, the heartless government destroyed people's lives with their new policy. So there's much more information. Heartless, right? So you don't feel sorry for them, right? You get angry at them. They treat people unfairly. Destroyed is a very strong word, right? And those 2 words make it emotive. So if you said yes, then you would be correct. The third example, our school won the trophy. So yes, we're excited we won a trophy, but there's no descriptive words that create a specific emotion. So that's a neutral sentence, so it's not emotive. The last one, our amazing school proudly brought home the trophy. So there you've got 2 words, amazing. You are in awe of, you have a feeling of awe, a feeling of admiration for your school, and proud, to feel proud, that's also an emotion, a feeling. So that will be an emotive sentence. So how emotive language makes us feel? It can make you feel happy. It can make you feel angry. It can make you feel sad. It can make you feel proud, as we saw in the last example. You can be scared, you can be afraid, so you can feel fear. And then you can feel sympathy. Sympathy if you feel sorry for another person. Right. So if one of those emotions, if you read a sentence and there's a word that you can associate with one of those feelings, then you're using emotive language. So if we quickly recap, emotive language is words that make people feel. You feel a specific emotion. It is used to persuade or to influence people. That's the purpose of emotive language. And then you will find it in adverts, you will find it in speeches, and even in your daily life. Right. 2 sentences. Can you quickly think of a neutral sentence? A sentence, just a plain sentence without any descriptive words. Okay, I hope you have a sentence in mind or you've jotted it down. My sentence is, the cat was on the street. It's just plain, straightforward, no emotion, no description. Okay, now I want you to take the same sentence that you have, right, the one that you thought of, and then I want you to rewrite it, adding an emotive word, using emotive language. Okay, so can you think of a descriptive word that creates an emotion that you can add to your sentence? Okay, I've added the following. The poor little cat was shivering. Immediately, if you shiver because you're afraid, you shiver because you are cold, alone, a feeling of aloneness, a feeling of being alone on the cold street. Cold and shivering goes together. So there you see the words that I've added. So I hope you could have added at least one descriptive word that creates an emotion in your sentence. Right, there's just an example of an advertisement. There you have the word powerful engine. Right, so it creates a feeling. If you drive this bakkie or this Toyota Hilux bakkie, you will have a feeling of power. Right, durable. Right, durable means it will last and last and last. So you will feel safe in it. You won't have to spend a lot of money. It is durable. Right, and then in the small print, you can also see the word excellence. Renowned. Renowned means famous. Robust, strong, unwavering, reliability. You can rely on it. So those are all words of emotion. I just wanted to add an advertisement so that you could see specific words in action. So remember, if it's difficult and it's difficult for you to identify the word, look at the word that's describing the adjective or the adverb. Right, the final thought. Words have power. Choose them to make people feel. So when you want to write something or you want to say something, words have power. You can make a person feel angry. You can hurt a person with the words you say. So choose your words carefully. Think of how your words would make other people feel. And then that's what emotive language is all about. Grade 9s, I hope you have a clear understanding of what emotive language is and that you will now venture in your writing to add some of these emotive words. Thank you for joining this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.